Here we go for the start of the Senior Max Heat 3. On pole is Cameron O'Connor with the fastest lap from the previous heat. In second, Yuri Swart. Just behind him, Jason Kutsia. And on his outside is Luke Herring. Andrew Rackstraw also bringing up there in fifth, just ahead of Dino Sturman. Dino Sturman struggling for pace apparently in the second heat, only able to get 6 on the grid for this heat as they head now for the start. It's going to be a great race, I'm almost sure of it. Yuri Swart looking now to block the middle line. He has done a great job of it, but it's allowed Jason Kutsia just enough time to get the inside as they go up into the first 180s. There's a bit of a gaggle, a bit of a push, and a bit of a shove. Andrew Rackstraw giving Jason Kutsia a good punt as they go into the first 180 and giving Yuri Swart the opportunity to get his place back and go up into third.
The guys are really doing everything they can, and let's see what happens with Luke Herring going and having a huge amount of fun and a great start, but is really pushing a little bit. As you can see, the dust on the day getting dust here today getting a little bit mad.
Jordan Sherrod has obviously had a brilliant start now, coming up into 4th place as we head now through pit bend.
As the sun comes down, it starts to get into the people's eyes, and this is where it starts getting a little bit tricky, trying to find your apexes while you've got a sun in your eyes. And these guys are really not letting it phase them at all.
Luke Herring and Dino Sturman a little bit further down the grid than I think they wanted to be, but Luke is quick on this track. He's done the most amount of laps here, and he's actually a driver trainer for quite a few of the young kids here on the circuit, a lot of them that are in the front of the other classes. Yuri Swart getting a little bit nervous of Jordan Sherrod at the moment as they head through the golf club corner.
Jordan trying everything he can, takes a look on the inside, decides not close enough, let's hang on a little bit and move on.
He needs to get a move on though, because Luke Herring is on his way. I can hear something scratching on the floor as O'Connor comes past our commentary box. They head into turn 1. Jason Kutsia just biding his time. He knows he's got all the time in the world. He's got a big gap between him and 3rd place. He can just relax and wait until the end of the race.
The one way you can start getting tired with Heat 3 and a battle like this, absolutely phenomenal.
Luke Herring, Dino Sturman and Yuri Swart getting into a little bit of an argy-bargy through the second 180. Luke Herring coming out of best there, but Yuri Swart unfortunately getting the short end of the stick as they head down towards Golf Club. It's Jordan Sherrod holding off 3rd place against Luke Herring, but like I said before, don't not count Luke Herring. The man is quick and he is on a charge.
Well, it's an endurance game now. It's 20 laps in this race, and we've got to make sure that each of these drivers can get across the line. So you can have all the pace in the beginning, but unfortunately you wear out your tires a hell of a lot quicker. And with 20 laps around the circuit, it gets a little bit tricky later on.
Yuri Swart getting eaten up there at the moment. There seems to be something wrong with that kart, and I don't think we're going to see him for much longer. I think he's going to need to retire that kart of his.
The guys are all trying everything they can, but Herring going and making a move, looking on the inside, chooses not to and just hangs back, just knuckling down and trying to play the long game.
Daniel Duminy struggling a bit here in Cape Town. I thought he has spent a lot of time here. He's only down in 10th place at the moment, but I'm almost sure we'll see a move from him shortly. He is quite a quick driver and runs in the front in the northern regions all the time, the boy from KZN. But here's the move we've all been waiting for. Jason Kutsia thinks he's ready to lead this race and try and make a move. Telling O'Connor, come buddy, give me a push. O'Connor says, no thank you, I'm here to race and I'm here to win.
Well, definitely side by side once again, these drivers duking it out. Jason not giving an inch at all, and O'Connor really having a bit of fun there.
Dino Sturman and Luke Herring chasing hard onto the back of Jordan Sherrod. O'Connor going to block Kutsia. It's just allowing this group behind them to get closer, ever so close. They're making it a race. Luke seems to be, he's got some pace, but doesn't seem to have all of it.
Well, that's one thing to keep an eye on, but take a look at the battle for the lead as we've got O'Connor doing everything he can and Jason Kutsia doing everything he can to try and make his way around.
O'Connor definitely holding up Kutsia at the moment. Kutsia seems to be the faster kart out there, but he's just, the blocking and the defensive driving is just allowing the 3 karts behind them to get onto them and make it a race.
Well, that's one thing that both Herring and Dino want, is to just get right onto the back of them. They've been working well as a team, actually, to make their way up.
Something wrong on Jordan Sherrod's kart. I think it was a chain. It sounds like it from where I'm sitting. I can hear the motor revving, but no drive happening. Unfortunately, Jordan Sherrod out of this race. He's managed to make it back to the pit lane, but he's definitely done and dusted for the day.
Well, that doesn't end up well and bode well for him at all, but just take a look. With him out the picture, there's nothing holding Dino back at all. It's nothing holding Herring back at all as well. The guy's really having a bit of fun.
O'Connor definitely getting defensive there, and it's not going to help his cause. It's just going to allow Luke Herring and Dino Sturman right onto the back of him. It's going to make it more than just a two-horse race. Maybe he knows he doesn't have the pace to stay on Coetzee if Coetzee gets past him.
Well, that's one thing. He's just going and slowing it just enough to try and get them to eat him up. But unfortunately, O'Connor is battling. But now, third and fourth, hooking onto the back of second, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky.
O'Connor may be playing the long game here, allowing Coetzee to get caught up to Luke Herring. But Luke Herring is a fighter, and he may just be doing the wrong thing here, allowing Luke Herring to come back into the race here.
Really going and duking it out, and you can see Herring trying everything he can, playing a little bit of a waiting game, seeing where's the gap, looks on the outside.
Here's the opportunity here for Herring as Coetzee has a look up the inside, doesn't get it down, it brings him right back into the clutches of Herring. They head down the back straight. He's going to make a move now or wait till turn one. The move is on now. He's up the inside and he's got it done on Jason Coetzee. Coetzee clever enough not to try and run around the outside. We saw what happens to Michael Stevens when he tried that. It doesn't work. So Luke Herring now chasing on the lead of Cameron O'Connor, but he hasn't seemed to show the turn of pace he had in the beginning. He was quite a bit quicker than the guys in front of him in the beginning. He seems to have just backed off the pace a bit, putting in some consistent lap times to try and get on the back of O'Connor.
Well, no, O'Connor's got a problem as Herring's chasing him down full force and wanting that first place position. So O'Connor's got to work hard, got to speed up a little bit, and Luke Herring is definitely on the charge.
The pace of the drivers in the front is all very evenly matched, 42 6s and 7s. They all seem to be doing the same sort of lap times, but I don't think Herring has the pace to get away, and I don't think anybody in these front four have the pace to break away from these two, from this group.
Well, definitely it's going to be a nail-biter right till the end by the looks of it. The guys doing everything they can.
There's a move on here into turn one for Herring. There he goes down the inside. He's made it stick. He's given O'Connor a little bit of a push wide. That's allowed Coetzee and Sturman to come past. Sturman hasn't quite got the move finished now as they head into the 180s. A little bit aggressive, leaning on O'Connor's sidepod just to let him know that he's there. O'Connor, the youngest driver in this group, just up from Junior Max, our ex-Junior Max champion from South African champion from last year, but he seems to be holding his own quite well there.
Luke Herring going and really having a bit of fun, but O'Connor now trying to fight back in fourth position to move up, and this is going to be tricky. He has to get past Dino, and that's not going to be the easiest thing to do.
Small mistake there from Herring through pit bend. It's allowed Coetzee to come onto the back of him, just a small slide, but he doesn't feel the need to block just yet. Coetzee staying right behind him.
I think Coetzee is keeping an eye right behind him. Dino going and keeping him busy. As you can see,
he backs Coetzee right up into the clutches of Dino Sturman. That gives him just enough breathing room, but isn't enough for him to get away. There was a brilliant move from Herring, just slowing the cart down just before the apex of the corner, making Coetzee have to slow down and allow Sturman up the inside.
Well, that's one way of doing it, and now Coetzee's got a problem. He has to deal with O'Connor, who's now on a charge trying to make his way around, and unfortunately not what he wanted to do, get slowed up and get eaten up by the grid.
Like I said before, when we raced X30 together, Herring is one of the smartest racers out there, always looking for an opportunity to make a gap or slow you down on the apex or try something new, try something different to get away from you, and that was a prime example of what he does. Takes his normal line now into the first 180, runs a little bit wide coming out of there, into the second 180. He's lost a little bit of time on Sturman. He's definitely struggling. He won't be able to get away from Sturman. He needs to come up with one of those crazy tricks that I've just told you about. Let's see, let's keep a watch and see what he does.
Guys are really duking out, giving their horns, and Luke Herring now under some serious pressure. Dino is tired of waiting behind and looks to the inside line. Unfortunately, not close enough to do anything just yet, but is trying to find a kink in that armor.
Herring seems to be struggling with a bit of oversteer there through pit bend. He's blocking Sturman as they go into the turn one. Clearly aware that he's got a little bit of an oversteer problem. He doesn't quite have the cart under him that he had in the beginning of the race. He blocks Sturman again into the first 180. He needs to be clever for the second 180, and he is. He stops it on the apex, giving himself just enough room on the exit to try and get a run down the back straight, constantly watching how far behind the cart behind him is.
I think Sturman is starting to get a little bit agitated. He's starting to realize this is not good for him. He's getting slowed up just a little bit too much through the corners, and that's allowing the rest to catch up and go and get onto the back of his heels. Luke's
won enough championships to be known as a bit of a clever old fox here in the Max Challenge Championship. He's won it before. He's won it against a big caliber of drivers. and he definitely is one of the front-running drivers in the country at the moment. He's definitely looking to slow Sturman down and give a gap. Again, he's blocking on the inside. Sturman goes to the outside. Luke will be aware of that and block again into the second 180. He gets a decent run out, but not enough just to break the back straight. The back straight is a problem on the circuit with the slipstream in these Max Challenge carts. I've lost many races here to David Perrell down this back straight. And as you see here, O'Connor trying to use it to his advantage. He gets the move done on Jason Kutsia. Kutsia tries to hang on the outside. Not the cleverest idea. We did see Michael Stevens do that in the last DD2 race and come off second best.
Well, if you can just take a look, O'Connor is on a charge, fighting back, and now has his sights set on Dino. Dino does not want to be in the situation.
Luke is very far on the inside, covering Dino, making sure there is no way for Dino to get past. Dino had about 6 car lengths on O'Connor as they went in there the last lap, but now has to be defensive to O'Connor. Luke knew about it and just goes back to doing his normal line. The gaggle of driving, the fighting going on behind him has given Luke just enough to break that elastic. He's done so. You can see his head is down. He knows his job is done. He's got the brake he needs. He can get away now.
Well, that's one thing that Dino really didn't want, is to suddenly have O'Connor bugging around, looking left and right and keeping him busy. And Luke Herring just pulling a phenomenal maneuver.
He slowed them down so much. Even Andrew Rackstraw is now joined onto the back of the pack. So very, very clever driving from Luke. He's now got the hammer down to get away. Dino taking his hand off to show something to Kutsia for some reason. I'm not sure what it is. He's doing it again now, asking him, why are you passing me? Let's just get going. Let's get onto the back of Luke. O'Connor now up the inside, blocks off Jason Kutsia into the second 180. Great move there. 2 carts, 1 corner. Well done, boy.
I'm sure Dino's asking a few questions of what on earth just happened. Herring was all going slowly and suddenly now put me all the way back and is disappearing away from us.
So definitely a clever drive from Luke Herring. It's pushed Dino down into 4th, but I'm sure that's not where he's going to stay. He's going to have a look to come back. They head through pit bend as the sun starts to set. They head through pit bend. The wind is high, so there's going to be moves down into turn 1. Here's Jason Kutsia down the inside of Cameron O'Connor. Cameron trying to run around the outside, and he gets it done. That's a brave bit of driving from Cameron. He's going to need to block into the first 180, which he does. This is really allowing Luke Herring to get going. Luke is checking out at the moment.
The guys are doing everything they can. Luke ran away. Dino is in a bit of a struggle. O'Connor having an absolute blast and is really putting his foot down now.
Andrew Rackstraw looking a little bit menacing there in the background, looking to see if he can get past. He's made a small mistake there over the curb, but he's managed to stick onto the back of Dino Sturman.
Andrew going and creeping up ever so slowly. One person we didn't expect to go and join the whole pack, and now he is a definite contender of the pack.
It's a long race still though, and it's been almost 20 laps of racing. These tires are taking strain, these drivers are tired. Jason Kutsia must be absolutely finished after driving 2 classes today, Junior Max and Max Challenge. But there's Dino Sturman down the inside. He gets the move done and dusted, nice and clean, but he's blocking through the chicane. He has to let Jason Kutsia go, otherwise that would have been an accident.
Now that's one thing you don't want to do. You try and hold it, unfortunately not able to, and you just have to give the position back, and it's really not the best thing to do.
That little bit of frustrating driving has allowed O'Connor to get away. He's got almost a second on these two, and that's going to be it. The elastic is broken, and they're going to have to push hard to catch him, but I don't think they've got many laps left to do it.
Andrew now looking to try and move up position, looks on the inside line. Unfortunately, gets the door firmly closed on him, and now has to work back up once again.
Sturman, unfortunately, looking like he's lost a bit of pace. He's lost 2 car lengths on Kutsia. Is he going to be able to get back onto the back of him and try and get that 3rd place back? I honestly think they're fighting for 3rd now. 1st and 2nd is all over bar shouting.
Well, that's one thing to keep an eye on, but it's absolutely amazing. Jason also having a phenomenal run in the karts as the sun starts to come down, and it's starting to get a little bit of a glare out onto the circuit, actually.
They head through pit bend now, and you can actually see the sun shining off the rubber that's down on the track that the tires, the Mojo D3 tires, leave on the circuit. It's the last lap now. There is no possible way that Jason is going to catch up onto Cameron O'Connor now.
No, I think that's done and dusted, and O'Connor is trying his hardest to go after Luke Herring. Luke Herring's got the biggest smile on his face. One plan that just had to take a little bit of time to execute and is now pushed away from the grid. He's quite chuffed with that.
You can even see by the look of his body language, he just kind of arches his back a bit, puts his head back, gives himself a bit of a giggle, and takes it nice and slowly to the last part of Golf Club and into pit bend. I'm sure he'll even show us a nod. There you saw it as he went through pit bend to his team crew on the side there. What a race by Luke Herring.
Absolutely phenomenal. So Luke Herring taking the win, followed by Cameron O'Connor, Jason Coetzee, Dino Sturman, Andrew Rackshaw, and Diego Rebello finishing in 6th.
Yeah, obviously it's a good way to end the day. Pity about race 2. Cost us the day win, but you know what, I'm happy with the 2 wins. Keep pushing for the championship, and again, just thank you to my dad for all his hard work, the effort, my trainer, B-Rad for the mechanicking, Shane, and the whole of RKT. Cosmic was on form today, so happy with today's results. Thanks.